Hello, welcome to September 20th, 2024. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation. This is an exercise that I do every day, a little bit after waking up, to think about and reflect upon my life objectives and the principles that I use to achieve those. I also use the time to think about yesterday and last night and how I did with the challenges and opportunities that I met. I prepare for the coming day and I check to see if I'm ready to die. Let's get into it. First, last night and yesterday. I slept exceptionally well last night, so much so that I slept in for a long time. Usually I wake up at 4 a.m. and although I say usually, that's been the habit for years, but pretty much ever since I moved out here to the desert, I've been sleeping in. The alarm's been going off and at 4, but I've been sleeping in until at 5 for an extra hour. So it's become awake at 4, but out of bed at 5, sleeping, going back to sleep for an extra hour. And I think that that extra hour does me well, although I preferred it when I had the time. I think the reason is that it's because of this tiny little house that I live in. Have a look. This is my whole entire world right here. And the door, I sleep with the door open, so it gets really cold at night. And uh, as a result, um, there's not much that I can do once I'm up. And I don't like doing this exercise. This is the first thing that I do after I get up, and first of all I feed the dog. Usually I don't even feed the dogs first. Usually I do this first. But I guess I've been finding things to fill the time, the dark hours, because it's not getting light until about 6 a.m. Until it's light enough to do this and feel like the day started properly. I wonder if I'll do that when I get to Japan because I'm thinking I'll rouse myself with the day. So anyway, I guess it's just me adjusting. Hmm. So I slept all right. Yesterday was a strange day at work. Feeling guilty. I I attended all my meetings. I did all the things. I've told you all before that I've told everybody, my boss, the big bosses. I've even announced it on LinkedIn that I have plenty of time to help people with stuff. And I've been given a couple of extra small projects to work on, but they're not very engaging my time. So I don't have a lot to do, and I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like getting paid if I'm not working hard. But I guess there's nothing more I can do about it. I've tried, I've asked for more work. The reality is, and I've even been told so much by the customer. They say, Kurt, we have some things we could help you with. I'm repeating myself. I've said this in past meditations. They say, we have stuff that we can help you with, Kurt, but it would take us so long to train you that you won't be here because I only have, what is it, like today? I think today's the day, 50 or 51 work days left. So there's not enough to bring me up to speed for me to helpful. So I guess it's just what it is. Hmm. So that's that. As for challenges yesterday, when I went to Julian, I took the boys to Julian. We walked. Feeling just even there. I was starting to feel at home in Julian. Julian's a little town, 30 miles away in the mountains. Same elevation, about 4,600 feet, but different. It's a forest there rather than a desert. Microclimates. And I would say that up until about a week ago, for the last month and a half, I've been feeling at home at Julian. But now it's starting to drift away. Even yesterday, I made a new friend, a guy that runs a little, like a stones and apothecary. I don't know, what would you call it? Witch's brew shop, right? Julian is full of those little shops that have stones and healing magic things. And, some of them even call themselves like witch shops. And he's got one of those. And he's kind of an interesting character with a beard. He's got beads in his beard and stuff. And there's this one little place. It's called, I can almost remember the name. It's called KO Corral. That's what it is. KO, just up from the main street, one street up, KO Corral. And there's about 5 or 6 little shops in there. And he's got the one just as you come through the KO Corral. It's a play on OK Corral, of course, because it's in a Wild West town. And he's got the one in the very back with the tree with a rock, big crystal rock stuck in it. And tree root cut off. And I noticed that after all the other storekeeps including a small winery called Blue Door Winery. After they close down, he stays open until everybody else is gone. And I've nodded at him a couple of times in passing. But yesterday I saw him leaving the shop, and I kind of hollered at him from a quarter of a block down because he saw me and I saw him, and people recognized me because of my dogs. And I yelled at him. I said, "You're always the last one standing, last man in, up, right?" And he says, "Yep, that's always me." And as I got closer, I said, "One of these days, without the dogs, I'm going to come by and visit your store." And he looked at me and smiled, and I'd like that. We had a nice little exchange. There was an eyeball thing, connection. Because Julian is full of artist types, which tend to be the people that I like best, the people that I connect with. Um, the the feely, touchy, creepy, not creepy in the good sense, creeping through the world types, the types that are looking in the nooks and the crannies and investigating, not just content to find a safe nook to live out their days. I'm not accusing anybody, but that is what a lot of us do, right? We find ourselves a safe nook and live out our days in anticipation of some tomorrow that we hope will come, some eternity. I don't think will. Anyway, that was when the moment struck me, because as I said that to him, and we locked eyes, and we realized, hey, maybe we could be friends. And I realized as soon as I walked past, no, we will never be friends. I go there mostly for Ollie the dog. That long. It's a 55-minute drive there, or maybe an hour sometimes. And I go there for him. The other dog doesn't care. He'll just walk through the desert with me. And I realized that, I only have like 12 more times I need to go to Julian. It's not enough time to facilitate friendship or maintain the connections with the other people I've met there. No, we shall not be friends. Just like I shall not be friends with so many people in my life that have come into my life in the various places where I live. I'm a gregarious person, outgoing. I make friends. I meet people and make friends very easily, but I give them up just as easily. I move on and forgetting names and just about everything. Only a few people really stand out over time. It's my way. It's not an unsocial way. It's just a way that is consequence. It's a consequence of the way that I live my life. Although I was thinking yesterday, maybe it's no coincidence that maybe it was Oheyasu podcast. It was John. John, if you happen to see this, it was your podcast and you mentioning about the stationery in Japan. Oh, I've become. Did I tell you? Not tell you guys? I've become a part of a. I've been welcomed into a collective of podcasters based out of the X community, and one of them is John, and he's got his Ohayasu, and I know I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's like a hearty good morning podcast, and I was listening to his yesterday, and keep it up with those video podcasts, John. I'm right there with you, and he was talking about Japanese stationery, and you got me thinking, John, about you got me thinking about using stationery. When I get back to Japan and get settled in Japan, maybe I'll go and get stationery and take up the fading art of letter writing. Wouldn't that be a surprise to the various people in my life? Because I have collected addresses. Wouldn't that be a surprise to people to go out to their mailbox and get an actual letter from Kurt in Japan? You planted that seed in my mind yesterday, John, with your podcast. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe that's a way I could keep up with all these people who are my fading friends, friends that I've made and fade away from, and the friends that I'll never have. Well, I can't keep up with them. The guy that I'm talking about yesterday won't likely get to know him. All right, I think that's enough. My good life creed is the North Star that I use in life to facilitate my better living, to help me to live a virtuous life, where virtue is defined as nothing more than a life seeking after the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. I label that as the pursuit of virtue. Consists of 8 objectives. These 8 are as follows. Number 1 is to be always ready to die. That means I need to have my affairs in order, my relationship sound, and my life's work, if not complete, in a state of readiness. my affairs, my papers, my writing, my journal, etc. And like I said, my relationships and my paperwork for finances. Okay, enough on that. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of my time so that I'm not letting this day, this one and only September 20th, 2024, slip away unutilized or underutilized. It's okay if it's underutilized, but unutilized, wasted, watching reruns no less. Okay, reruns once in a while, but to spend my life not making good utility of my days, no, that's not for me. That's not one of my objectives. One of my objectives is, my number 2 is to make good use of my days. Number 3, excuse me, is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. That's exactly this creed that I'm reciting to you now. All of this is in my book, Going Alone. Number 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions, to react well to the circumstances that ambush me in life, or take me by surprise, or even the ones that I'm aware of. Like yesterday, I had a little bit of an ambush yesterday. The dogs were all in a fuss in the evening, and I needed to get some stuff done. I calmed myself down. I didn't do as good as I could, but I did pretty good. I calmed myself down and said, okay, Kurt, the dogs need you. Sit down on my little couch bed here. Put them both beside me on my lap, and give them the attention that they need until they're ready. That's making good. That's responding well to difficult situations. Next is to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day in accordance with the pursuit of virtue. Number 6 is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities so that I reach for things that I can actually grasp and not so concerned about the things that are beyond me. I think I'm missing one. Number 8 should be I can't remember. The last one is to keep my balance. I have to look up the book. It's been so long. I think I only recited 7, but there's 8 objectives. How silly of me to not remember. Okay, as for today, it's a Friday off. I'm going to finish this. I'll have my coffee. I'll eat my breakfast. The dogs have already been fed. They've already been walked. I'll do my laundry. And then I will head to town and do my shopping, etc., etc. I might go by the thrift store because I don't have any cold weather clothes and I'm freezing my butt off. Last question. Am I ready for death? Are my affairs in order? Yes, they're all are. The paperwork is all in the file cabinets over there. Yumiko has copies. There's electronic copies. I've made all the arrangements with the banks and everything, making sure that everything's in Yumiko's name. I've set everything up for our retirement fund so that if I die, she gets 100% of everything for the rest of her life. So her well-being isn't dependent on my staying alive. My relationship sound? Yeah, I don't think I have anybody that I have any unfinished business with, except of course my mom. But she doesn't. That's in her court, right? I can reach out to her, but if she doesn't reach back, there's nothing I can do about that. And then finally, is my life's work complete? Well, I have 2 things I would call my life's work. One is to successfully raise my daughter into an adult who can take care of herself. Yes, and she is. And then the second thing was to pen my barbaric yelp, which I did by virtue of my book, Going Alone. So yeah, my life's work's complete. It's all gravy and bonus on this point from forward. So I'll stop from there. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.